And here we go. So finally back at the table. Now we're going to be painting up this miniature right here that I've kit bashed. This was a 3D printed miniature from Titan Forge. You can find it over at my mini factory if you're interested. This is not paid sponsorship or anything. I've just had this mini. You'd have to go way back into their files, like in their things. It's one of the first ones they ever produced. It's either called, I don't know if it's Skull Guy or something like that. If you look for Skull, it'll probably come up. Everything, of course, I've added a bit of chain, a bit of wire. The mohawk itself, that's why I've got one of these here, is actually made from one of these glue applicators. It's part of the Grimdark Compendium's sort of tool kit. You know, you can, as it's you know suggested, apply glue and all kinds of things. The other half of this, the actual stick part that got knackered when I cut off, it took about, I think, 3 of these to make the mohawk. The stick part I've used to make this pole. So it's yeah, very versatile little bit of plastic. Cast that aside. And 3D printed, as you can see. I started painting it and stuff. It's been 3D printed and drilled and everything. Bits of tile grout that I broke up. Another 3D printed little bit. Some wires and everything's on here. And yeah, there's wires in the back of him going into his jacket. And yeah, that's about everything I've done to him. And I put him on a 50mm base just so I could have, oops, sorry, a little bit more sort of control over how I'm going to be painting him. And this is actually for their most current competition. It's due by September 11th, as I've mentioned in another video. So we're going to get it done. It's called Lone Wanderers, I believe, or something along that line. I should have looked it up. But yeah, we're going to do this one in a sort of blanchitsu style. And for that blanchitsu, which I have done before in a couple of miniatures, I've even done a tutorial about how I've done it on the channel. And I'm just going to limit my palette down to being very John Blanche style colours. You know, the ochres and the red, and sort of the only sort of white is for skin. You know, you should always look at John Blanche's artwork. Got black as well. Then we've got some effects paints, of course. You know, some typhus corrosion and the nylon oxide for the oxidization. For, you know, we've got Seraphim Sepia and Collier Green Shade and Carabed Crimson, just to do a little bit of, oops, move it up here, do a little bit of, you know, if I need any shades. And of course I've got some Villainy ink here. Goon's Grime is, it's one of those sort of magic in a bottle sort of tools. Using it sparingly, using it heavily will differ in your mileage. It's always something you should try. I admit I do really like it. I haven't tried any of the other ones yet in the sets. I just wanted to get one and then save up and possibly get the entire set. But for now, I'm enjoying using it. I've only used it a couple of times, but I would recommend, especially Goon's Grime, as sort of the overall wash one. You know, it's the one that you kind of go to. It's what people would call the universal shade, kind of like your Agrax Earth shade or your Nuln Oil. It's one of the ones that you put on to unify everything together before you go on to further steps. So it's really a good product. It also changes it depending on whether you let it naturally dry or dry with a hairdryer, I find. So worth a try, depending on where you live and stuff, to get a small hairdryer, which I have done. I got a cheap one. Give it a try and see how your effects will vary. Yeah, on the back of the bottle it says, you know, whether it dries matte or glossy or anything like that. In this case, I'm just wanting grit and grime. And of course, I've actually get a better look at the mini again on the pole and whatnot. you'll see. I put pictures of this up on Instagram. I haven't really put much up on YouTube, but you can see I've pre-textured a few things around him, a bit on his boots and whatnot, and a lot of the metallic stuff. This is all been pre-textured with Typhus Corrosion and the old green stuff, wetting green stuff down with water and just dabbing it on. Again, if you check over on Instagram, there is the photos of this undercoating that you can see that. I might chuck them in here after I've finished my spiel here, but I'm not going to again show you every step. We're just going to sort of go paint all the base colors, then we'll move on so that you're not seeing everything, because how you paint your minis is up to you. And I've done, as I said, a whole hour-long tutorial about how I do my blanchitsu. Oh, another thing I should mention is that if you do, if you do want to go and check out my blanchitsu style, I do recommend watercolor pencils to further the ground effects and dust effects around the miniature. You could also use powders and everything under the sun. I just like the way. Now these, as they're just normal Derwent, excuse me, color pencils. They're nothing special. You know, orange, yellow, and everything. I've used these on my terrain as well. If you've watched my what was it again? Oh gosh, I forgot. A Trench Crusade. I've used them on my Trench Crusade stuff. But yeah, I've got those pencils to also use. I'll probably pick like a brown and an orange, probably those two or something too. Maybe not, that one's a bit dark, but you know, just to accentuate them and get some sort of dust and grime picked up. But put those back. Yeah, and also let me know about this camera angle. Is this okay? Because this is the first tutorial in the new build, well, not tutorial, but first video in this new area. If it's zoomed in too much or if it's okay, just let me know and I'll keep the settings in mind for next time, or I will zoom out and let you see the whole table, or if you prefer me trying to get the camera sort of centralized in front of me, sort of, you know, like that or something, I'll try to find some way to do it and learn how to paint through a camera lens rather than you seeing over my shoulder. But anyway, I'll start painting up this mini and get all the base colors down, and then I will, you know, show you the next stage. And again, thank you for watching. Let's do it. Alright, so I've been gone for a minute here while I was doing some stuff. I ended up adding a metallic into the palette and a grey. I forgot to add the metallic in, and the grey was just to add a different colour into it. So what I started off doing was putting... I looked at some of John Blanche's artwork, and I put down some Doom Bull Brown first, and then added all of the other colours on top. Well, that red, sorry, that's a highlight red, that one. But all the other colours I've used, and Dryad Bark as well was one I used. Oops. So all these, and that's the ones I've actually ended up using, and we've ended up with this. So by basically putting the Doom Bull Brown first, there's another painter, yeah, and the, as I said, the grey. Putting the Doom Bull Brown first, and while it's still wet, then coming in with the other colours and letting them mix. You'll see down by his pants here, we've ended up with this. I'm sorry, the light's not great. I'm waiting on my lights to come in. We end up with these sort of not so covered thing, and we've ended up with the mix. And the red's mixed with it, and the black. Let's see if I can actually get it to focus on his. There we go. You can see his there's still some brown around it. There's still some Doom Bull brown here and there. And there's still, it's, you know, everywhere. I've used yellow on the base. And, you know, it's still, even the skin on his stomach is brown, but then mixed in with the pallid witch flesh. Is it? Yeah, it is pallid witch flesh. What I'm going to do after this is come back in with a highlight and highlight it up a bit, maybe, I don't know, just a very light highlight, like on his tummy and that. And then I think I might give him an overall wash with the Goons Grime. And then I'll come back tomorrow and give him some more work to highlight him up. But I'm happy with the metal looking all beat up and stuff. The hair I'm okay with just now being this sort of orangey yellow. I'm probably going to come in with some kind of fluoro colour to sort of make them look like they're, I don't know, those sort of fibre optic wires maybe, with the little bits on the end. I paint a cigarette, or it's a little cigarro or cigarello, whatever it is. And yeah, we'll work on that. I do love the, if I can get into focus here, the lion face or demon face that's on his jacket. I'll highlight that up with some yellow too. And these wires on his neck here need to be hit with some kind of other colour. But yeah, we're getting there. And thus far it looks pretty good. I'm happy with that. Something different than the original blanchitsu sort of style I did, but using the same skills. But yeah, it's just something simple. It's still got that sort of Grimdark feeling to it, because it's getting, you know, everything's stained and ripped, and everything is going to have the colour, the kind of base colour in it. As I said, I probably won't be over here too much longer because I'm losing the light. But anyway, I'll do what I can for the next stage. As I said, with a bit of highlighting, with the original, pretty much the original colours pure as possible, and then do the overall sort of. Well, maybe we'll see about if whether I do the skin first and then do the Goons Grime wash, or come back to it. I can always do that tomorrow or something, or the next stage, I should say. But yeah. Anyway, we'll continue on. Okie dokie. Sadly, it's gotten dark here, and I'm having to use the big light here as the only light source I've got. So hopefully this isn't too overexposed, but yeah, it is. I'm sorry. See if I can. Whoops, sorry. Cover it with my hand a bit. Here we go. So as you can see, we've highlighted the jacket now, and no, it's not going to focus on that. My hand there, is it? Sorry about this. I'm just going to have to deal with it, and I'll take some photos tomorrow when it's a bit darker and post them on Instagram. But we've got the skin now done in using the Grimdark Compendium's techniques. We've got sadly the glue kind of clumped up there, and it's giving me this really creepy, like, glue yucky stuff. But that's okay, because it's post-apocalypse, so I'm definitely gonna put some yucky blood or something on that. I could do the highlights on his jacket and whatnot, but for the steel, I mean, we've done the highlights on his jacket for the red, and we did the symbol of the demon on the back. We did his pants as well. I'm not worried about his boots. Nor the metal. I've got to do the wires, I forgot. So that's it for now, and hopefully we'll get back to it tomorrow. And as I said, we'll carry on with him. But for now, it's just going to be that short sort of video here. Whoops, getting back in. But I'm really happy with where we're going with this. I hope you're enjoying it. Yeah. And again, thank you for watching. I will say that using that thin glue technique, as I said, with these little applicators, when they soak up the glue, they do, sometimes they can pick up the previous layer. So that's why that little glue stuff on the side of his tummy there is going like that, and his belly button is also looking weird. But as I said, I'll make that into some kind of growth or whatever. So it's added something to it, really. But yeah, I'm going to keep going with it. As I said, I'm going to use, actually I forgot to say, I've got, dirty down rust to add to it too. But yeah, the next stage is going to be, I don't need that glue anymore, will be to get some more highlights. Move the mic for a sec. Get some more highlights on him, and probably do the wash of. Oh, I don't need actually. No, I'm going ahead of myself. Paint those wires on the back of his neck, and then get the villainy ink down, and then we'll see where we go from there. But as I said, I've said it 3 times now. Thank you for watching, and yeah, I'll see you next time at the table. Cheers.